All right, guys. So Marissa's in the shower. She just had a very successful breast pumping session, or colostrum pumping, as we're going for the gold, liquid gold, they call it. So let me break this down for you guys. I've been dying to share this news with you guys, but this is, of all of the things that Marissa and I are like dead exactly the same in. There's one thing that we're very opposite in, is she's very private. Obviously, you guys know for years I'm not. So I was respecting her wishes with the post, because she was like, I don't want everybody to see him all on the wires and everything and be like, what the hell is wrong with him? So the debut shot that you guys saw there, but I want to tell you about how this all went down, because it was a pretty wild couple of days. He came in a very dramatic fashion. So Frank Breach, C-section. I predicted that he was going to be 8.5 pounds, because they were talking about how big he was on the ultrasounds, and she's small. He was taking up her whole stomach. So I was like, he's going to be like 8.5 pounds. Sure enough, 8 pounds, 7 ounces. First thing that they say is scrotum. Like, you're behind the curtain, right? Waiting for this to go down. You hear scrotum, and then you hear pooping. And I'm like, oh my God, he's coming out, and I'm sitting there with Marissa, and we can't see anything. We're behind a curtain, and I hear no crying. So I'm like listening. My heart's racing, no crying. It's quiet. And then I hear respiratory, get respiratory on the phone, get someone. I'm like, what's going on? So I knew he was out. Then all of a sudden I hear him crying, and they're like, good. And they're like, come here, Dad. And so I like come from behind the curtain. I don't know what's going on. And I go over to the corner, and there was, I believe, like a respiratory doctor and another, NICU nurse in there. And they were like trying to keep him awake. They were like, he's okay. He's just forgetting to breathe. And I'm like, forgetting to breathe, and his whole body would go just like lifeless for a second. And then he would like cry a little bit. And so they're like, we got to take him out. So like, Dad, come with us. So now I'm like, they're really quick, like show the baby to Marissa, really, really quick. And that was kind of like crazy to me, because it was, you envision this whole thing of like the mom like holding the baby and, the skin to skin and all that. And it was just like, come with us. So we go into the NICU and go in. There's all these tiny ass babies in there. He's giant compared to these little babies in there. But they come over like a NASCAR team when the car comes in the pits. Like, one person's doing this, one person's doing this. And they were explaining everything that they were doing. So I was understanding it the whole time. It was just a lot. And I do have a video of some of that. But I didn't even really like want to be in their way. They're like, you're okay being here. And I was like, I'm just going to stand back here. One lady was doing an IV, another lady was doing this, they were just like, there was a lot. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go and check on my wife. And so I was really glad that she wasn't in there for that, because that's not what you want to see, especially after 9 months of carrying this little angel around. So I go in, and it was tough, because, she was like, what the hell? I carried him for 9 months. So I was so excited to see him. And I feel like I don't even have a baby now. And I was like, my heart was broken for that. But I was like, you know what? Thank God that we have these specialists taking care of him. And so I'll explain to them what they said, and he's doing really good now. So the doctor, who was the respiratory doctor, was really awesome. And I think she knew that I was stressed out. So she came in to talk to me, and she said, so with babies that are breached like that, especially the way that he came in, it's common for them, when they're a little early to not really know how to breathe yet. In a natural birth, they get a signal that they know to breathe when they come out. That doesn't happen the same way with C-sections. And so she said sometimes they just need a little help at first. So we're going to put him on a CPAP machine, and hopefully he won't have to be there on too long. It might be hours, it might be days, but he'll start to learn how to breathe the right way. We x-rayed his lungs. There's nothing wrong. All his heart, everything's strong. He just has to learn how to breathe on his own. So, that made me feel better. They said that was fairly common. So he stabilized, and then after, about 24 hours, whatever, they said that Marissa could hold him and do the skin to skin. And that was like, for me, I didn't really get like, oh, are you going to cry or freak out? I was honestly really calm the whole time. The first time I got any like emotional was when Marissa held him for the first time, because I was just waiting for that, you know, all this time. And I know she was too. And I wanted that for her, you know, so bad, you know. So she said that one of the nurses today, that was one of the trauma nurses, was like, yeah, I think your husband was kind of freaked out in there. He was really worried about you. And she was like, yeah, he's really good. And I was like, I was like, but I'll tell you, I never for 1 second felt like anything wrong was going to happen, because they were explaining everything so well, and they were so calm. Like, this happens all the time. And he's changed so much since that first day. Like, he looks amazing now. Like, he was all beat up with all the wires and everything in the beginning, and they took the last tube out yesterday and in the evening. So when we saw him this morning, that was really, really great to see him without the wires. That was the first video that I posted. And when I did the skin to skin with him, it was really cool, because he was crying. And as soon as I took him and he looked at me, he just stopped crying right away, and he was just totally chill. And he's been super chill, like, every time I hold him after that. It's funny because, like, looking at him, he really does look exactly, if you look at baby pictures of me, that's exactly what I look like. I wanted him to look like Marissa. I was like, she's prettier than me. I want you to look like her, but you're stuck looking like me, little buddy. But he's really awesome. And right now, we hope that he can come home in the next couple days. You know, that he's progressed pretty fast. So we got discharged. We're home now. Marissa is tough as fuck, which I've already known. Between me and her, the baby's gonna have freak pain tolerance. Like, she was like walking around normal. Like, the nurse is like, you don't even seem like you had a baby. Like, some of the girls that had C-sections are like getting pushed around in wheelchairs and stuff. I have to like tell her to like chill. But I kind of knew that it was going to be that way, because she trains so hard. You know, she just recovers like crazy. You know, she crushes her legs like 3 times a week. So she's been amazing. The third day, by the way, ladies know, I guess this is a common thing, the third day boobs, because we were trying to breast pump and everything, and the wrong size phalanges, which is a whole nother thing, which, by the way, only women are going to understand this. If you're a size 25 phalange, please DM me. I just got, for science purposes, I have to know. I have to know for science purposes, please. But now that we're home, colostrum's fucking flowing, baby. So they were like, today when they saw her, they're like, oh, you got the third day boobs. Like, they were like visibly like swollen and painful, she said. But the pumps are working good. And so everything is progressing very nicely. Everybody's healthy. But having a baby is extremely catabolic, though, by the way, fellas, because I've missed so many meals. I fasted. The first day I fasted because she couldn't eat, and I wanted to give her sympathy fasting. Even though she told me to eat, because you gotta chew like ice and shit after. But now, today, I ordered Bella Amici. Shout out to Bella Amici that just got here. It's cold. This will be my first meal of the day. Missed workouts because we were in the hospital. So catabolic, it is catabolic, but everything else is bonus. It's beautiful, and we're happy. So that's everything, guys.